Let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And as you have this wonderful feeling after you've taken initiation where you feel all kind of like shiny and new. It's always such a joyful experience, and it feels like a celebration as well. And then this is why it's always good to do the Vajrasattva, because you can somehow try and keep that up. Because it's almost like you go through a purification process or some kind of cleansing when that was my experience. That's how I feel after I've taken initiation with someone. Yeah. Although when we would take them with Rinpoche, it was always an all-night thing. I don't know, by the time we got to the morning, it was like, I just want to go to bed. Anyway, so settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. If you if your feet are down on the ground, have them about a hip's width apart, and really try and get a sense of the ground underneath your feet. And your shoulders are aligned with your hips, and have your ears aligned with your shoulders. And just imagine you have this beautiful string of pearls of light as your spine. And just lengthen. Bring your awareness to the crown of the head, and just notice if you have any sensation there, the top of the skull. And then just release any tension there. And just notice as soon as you do that, you just release tension in your face. And then just relax the back of the tongue, the jaw, the ears, the back of the head, the back of the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down, and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And you can bring the mind to the breath. Just notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment. And just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow with the mind. And be aware of the thoughts that are rising in the mind. So for some of you, it could be excitement and a renewed sense of community. So just watch and, just acknowledge your virtuous thoughts. These kinds of thoughts are thoughts that will serve you. Appreciating others. I notice you mentioned a couple of times, this person looks beautiful, that person looks beautiful, that interconnection between these two people is beautiful. So it's really, really heartening to see appreciation. So try and appreciate yourself as well. And then for the thoughts that don't necessarily serve you, just put them on a nice white fluffy cloud and just allow that to float away. And now bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, very precious folks, those who are, we have these really deep, meaningful, and profound relationships, interconnectedness. And then there's those people who we don't like so much. We sort of steer away from them. We have aversion for them. And then there's our strangers. And just remember they can all change place at any time, this relationship. And then remember they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity of Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life and by extension, all sentient beings. So perhaps for those of you who were in the teaching this weekend and the empowerment, perhaps you notice a difference in your practice before or after, before the weekend, after the weekend, or maybe not. Well, that's either way is fine. Or perhaps there's a shift. There might be a shift in the quality of your practice, or deepening in a way. So just acknowledge that to yourself, because you're the one that created the cause and the merit and the karma to be there. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change it by creating positivity instead. So we have the power to do this. So we start this practice with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason we regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we see the Buddha Vajrasattva not as this kind of all-powerful deity that's going to kind of rescue us and forgive us and save us, all this kind of thing. No, we're doing the work ourselves, and we're just relying upon these methods. And in this reliance, I think we are also calling forth all the lineage holders. They're supporting us from behind. Just imagine that. They're all around. The Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, all around you, supporting your practice. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra. And this represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these. This is symbolizing enlightenment. infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So this is the second section, the second half of reliance. And the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. And we just think of people we have harmed and then people who have harmed us and just have compassion for them, particularly those ones, because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest as suffering for them sometime in the future. So we start now with the remedy, and this is purification of the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted now that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forces up to the top of your body, all the negativity of your speech. And just imagine it overflows quite forcefully from and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, feel so delighted that the speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. Next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine when you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So kind of try and imagine the same thing here, that the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, anger, grudges, jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled with this light. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And just imagine that light and nectar comes. Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in this purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to not harm with your body and speech and mind. And so without making some kind of a decision or some kind of a commitment to ourselves, we're not really going to do anything. But we need to have a sort of an aspiration, a wish to, not harm. So you have that wish strong enough, you might find that that squirrel that was about to run in front of your car and underneath your tires might decide to go the other direction. Squirrels are a little bit ditzy when it comes to the road. So that's just one example. We might find you step over that step with the ants running around in there. I don't know, you might find that there's less opportunity for you to run into a situation where you might harm. Just by this wish, having a wish not to harm. You don't even have to do anything. The circumstances just won't arise. And then think of something that you'd like to work on. And you can actually also think like this, you know you're going to go into a situation where it might trigger you, or it might be a little bit much, or you might feel you might need to work on keeping your mouth shut. So you just decide that for this 1 hour that I'm going to have tea or coffee with this person, I'm just going to allow them to talk. I'm going to give them myself, give them my ear, my heart. I'm not going to make any comments. You just have to do it for an hour. They go away happy. Otherwise, you can think of something else, like maybe something to do with your speech or something like that. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So remember, Rinpoche would say, to meditate on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So you can think about how things might be appearing to you. Maybe that's your understanding of how things are appearing might not be accurate. I think in Scott Snibby's book, he talks about, the scientists say that trees aren't green from their own side. We see that color because of the way we're built. I have to look into that a little bit further. That's just an example. So dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice this evening to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So does someone have some verses? Some Manjushri verses? Jay said she had to go to attend His Holiness's teaching, so that's why she left. Arahat, Bhikshu, defilements, exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he, having cooled down, is free from stains. Equipped in full with knowledge and its base, a Sugata best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging onto mine, established in the system of two truths. Upon the edge of cyclic life's far shore, with deeds accomplished, resting on the bank, emerging from untainted lone awareness, with sword-like insight ever penetrating. Okay, so let's just dedicate all the merit we've created this evening. You may as well, you've probably dedicated already all the merit you made over the weekend. Fantastic. Congratulations, everybody. And to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his long life, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all your precious teachers and your new teachers. Okay.